Hello, this is Trevor, and today I'm going to show you the quickest cheat method for weight painting your character in Blender. So under a few minutes you can go from this to this. It's going to be an easy tutorial, so let's begin. First thing we need is this free add-on called Robust Weight Paint Transfer. Go to this site, download it and install it the usual way. For to be able to download it, you will need to create an account on this site. So the thing is, it's not really meant for that, but radar coatings, but we have to find creative ways to avoid annoying boring work. So yeah. So the next thing we need is one single skeleton mesh that already has a great weight painting. It doesn't matter from what source you have it, as long as their bone structure is similar. It don't have to be exact, it's enough if it's just simply similar. So you can have a Rigify rigged mesh or a custom skeleton mesh or the Unreal 5 skeleton mesh. So there is quite a couple of reasons why I showed how to rig your character with Unreal Skeleton in previous tutorials. You can still convert your mesh to Unreal 5 Skeleton if you want to know how, just check out this video here. So it's all getting together, see? So therefore now I go to Unreal, create a third person template, find the Queen Skeleton mesh, right click, Asset Actions, and hit Export. You can uncheck level of detail. While we are here, we can also export an animation. So let's go into Queen, right click, Asset Actions, and export. This is not necessary, but greatly helps us fine-tune the weight paint if needed, while also visualizing the difference. Now we are in Blender, this is where we left off, so let's create a new product for our skeleton. Let's import our exported character from Unreal. Now scale down the exported rig and closely line up with our character. Grab the rig and scale it down. Go to Object, apply all transforms, as well as on the mesh. Now once we have that, reset both skeletons, rotation, location, and scale in pose mode. Again, since I'm using Unreal Skeleton, I don't even have to bother with lining up that much, but if you have a character in a different roles, line them up as close as possible. Now, let's find our add-on. You will find it under Tent here. Now there is a guide on the side how to use all these features and what they do, but I'm not going through all of them, just on those what I think is important. So for the source, select our Queen. If you drop down this settings menu, you should select Point in mode and check Visualize Rejected Weights. What this will do is it will create a color attribute that will show us which parts of the weight paint transfer failed. Limit to 4 bones per vertex should be checked as well, so keep them on. For now, I will leave the max distance and the max normal difference like this, and I show you what it does. Here you can also add some smoothing. You can type in 5 and 0.5, for example. We are using smoothing to avoid hard edges on vertex groups. You have to select your character, then you can hit Transfer Weights. Now what you see is that the character has a lot of pin parts, so a lot of them failed, and that is because of these two values, mainly because of the max distance. Just in case, be aware that my scene is set to Unreal measurement, so the values you need to use might differ, but the best ways for me is to just set it to 0.1 max distance and set the normal difference to 45 degrees. This will greatly help our add-on to create the weight painting transfer. And now if I hit Transfer Weights, it's looking much better. And we can hide the skeleton, the Unreal skeleton. Now there are still parts that are not truly affected, but basically it did 95% of the job for us. I am not even care about the unaffected parts, because take a look at that. This is the main reason we are doing it, to make the heavy lifting on the bendy parts. Here at the knee, and the elbow, and the pelvis. And just from a few clicks, this is what we got. So you might wonder, there is already an inbuilt weight transfer method in Blender. Why do this way? Well, because it will not work like this, like ever. No matter how you tweak it. It can be useful in cases, but this is far better and a faster method. So let's make some hotfixes where we need it, because unfortunately for best result we still need some manual tweaking. Now let's start with the parts that didn't translate it well. For example, the fingers and the hand. Now there is two solutions, so let me show you the first fix. But first let me show you that currently it's a mess, as you can see. So the quickest fix is, you should go to Object mode, select your rig, select your mesh, go to Weight Paint, and simply select all problematic bones. And only the problematic ones, it's important. Then go to Weights and assign Automatic from Bones. And now these bones reverted back to the normal automatic weight painting and not the transferred one. Okay, the second solution would have been is to go to Edit mode with the character selected, and with face mode selected, select the problematic parts of the mesh, my case the hands, hit P to separate selection, go back to object mode, select the hands, then represent it to the rig with automatic weights. But now if you check the bones, let me just hide this. So if I'm going to move the wrist, it's going to tear apart the mesh. To fix that, you should go back to object mode, go to object mode, select the separated parts, in my case the hands first, then the character second, then hit Ctrl G to join them. Now the bone movements will still separate the mesh, so now we need to go to edit mode, turn off this proportional editing, go to vertex select, select the vertices at the joining edge, pull it a bit away so you can select both edges, with edge select and while holding Alt, then Shift and Alt click again, and press M and then merge by distance, and play with the merge distance until it's looking fine. And now if we check it, it doesn't tear the mesh apart. The other version is still better and faster because we still need to use the first technique at the joining point, which is around the wrist bones. I just wanted to show you this technique as well, so it can be useful for you. Now let's make some additional quick fixes. So the eye case do not need any weight painting on the character, so their weight should be always 0. Select the eye case, set the weight to 0, go to weights and set weight. Now it will reset all existing weight on this one. Now let's make this on the other eye case as well. Usually we need to modify the upper arms as well, so we will not receive auto-like traps when we are jumping. Modify the legs like so. It varies from character to character, but I found that these are the problematic parts. Now for the rest, the best way to check your weight is to retarget a dynamic full range animation to your character. Do something with lots of bending, twisting and exaggerated movement to truly test the deformation. That's why I chose the running. So let's import that now in a different folder and retarget the animation with Rococo. If you are not familiar with retargeting, I can make a video on it, but there is a lot of videos on YouTube about it. Now it's done, let's hide the folder and tweak where necessary. So this is the end result. You can try to copy these and see if it's worked for you. And here you can delete the color attribute and change back the shading. We will not need it anymore. Just like that, in just a few minutes, we have a fully functional weight painted character ready to go. Of course, there is always room for improvement through shape keys and minor refinements, but that's a more advanced topic. If you're interested in diving deeper into that, let me know in the comments and I will happy to create a tutorial on it. In the upcoming videos, I will guide you through fully importing your character to Unreal, setting up textures, adding some much needed jiggle physics, creating hair bones and much more. So see you in the next one, stay safe and Happy New Year for everyone.